I feel anxious as I hear of plans to overhaul a healthcare system which now only minimally meets the needs of Americans, while costs including co-pays and deductibles already limit some consumers' access to the care they so richly deserve. I celebrate the Bill of Rights given to us by our Constitution, and I celebrate the Universal Declaration of Human Rights given to us by our United Nations, ratified by our United States. I want healthcare to be considered a human right for everyone.
I am justice, and I proclaim the law of light, life, liberty, and love. As the sun illuminates the earth, so do I bring clarity to chaos. I decree freedom for all, for love is the law, love under will. I have been revered by every civilization, adored by the wise, and feared by the wicked. I am the dream of the poet and the goal of the philosophers. I show the way of truth, the pure mind, the clear heart. And I have been honored throughout the centuries. The ancient Egyptians knew me as Mot, the goddess, the principle of cosmic balance. In Babylon, Hammurabi carved his laws to bring about the way of righteousness so that the strong should not oppress the weak.
Since 2006, we still have troops in Afghanistan, we still have troops in Iraq, we still have airstrikes in multiple countries, and this has been going on for the last 8-9 years. And people were saying, well, it's not so bad, we don't feel it, there's nothing going on here. Well, I think, in my opinion, the results of the last presidential election are chickens coming home to roost partly for a number of reasons, but including our endless wars that we've been waging.
There are many ways that you can take care of your veterans, but as my dear friend Eamon pointed out to you, one of the most obvious ways to me is stop making disabled veterans. Stop waging wars, okay? The last 15 years have been an abject disaster.
When life itself seems lunatic, who knows where the madness lies? Perhaps it is to be too practical is madness, to surrender dreams. This may be madness. Too much sanity may be madness. And madness of all is to see life as it is, not as it should be.
En otras palabras, se advierte que el revisionista de la historia está hoy en la Casa Blanca.
Because you're talking about Donald Trump, and I remember he made fun of somebody like me. And I'm not saying this against him because I'm not going to make fun of Donald Trump. I want to point out what Donald Trump missed. I am disability. I am disability. I am disability. Because disability is distinctive individuals with skills, abilities, brains, intelligence, life, insight, and talent yearning. We human too. And disability is the only element or aspect of life that does not discriminate. Black, white, tall, dark, young, old. It does not matter.
I am the poor white fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing the slavery scars. I am the red man driven off of his land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owing everything for no one's greed. I am the farmer, bondsman, the soil, the worker, sold to the machine. I am the Negro, servant to you all. I am the people, humble, hungry, and mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today by pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, martyred through the years. Yet I am the one who dreamt our basic dream. The old world, I am the one who serves the kings.
Think about the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." I identify as a Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, and whether you are a follower of Christ, one who sees Christ as a prophet, or perhaps you see him simply as a really good guy that said some really neat stuff, when he was asked what was the greatest commandment, part of his answer was to love your neighbor. Dr. King encouraged activists to lead with love. The call to love is a way of bringing people together. It's my experience that nowhere have I found that we must all agree on everything in order to love and respect humanity. The call to love isn't easy to do, and in some ways it seems impossible to do. And even though the way of love seems insurmountable in some cases, it doesn't negate the call to love. Hate is never the way. Discrimination is never the way. Love is always the way.
Too often we hear the mantra that we could do better with more education, more vo-tech skills, more motivation, more whatever. However, as our new president put it last summer, it's laziness and being slow to catch on, especially for some demographic groups, that in his eyes keep people underemployed or unemployed. It's never about the growth of an economy that relies on low pay, low benefit jobs to ensure the profit margins increase at the top. It's never about discrimination, whether based on race, religion, age, gender identity, or whatever. It's always about the poor being lazy and wanting handouts. But our lives, and that of our kids and our grandkids, and our future depend on fairness in the workplace.
Because it's not a matter of, being upset that Donald Trump is president. It's a matter of how we're going to cope with that and come to an understanding that that is how it is right now. And we need to realize that instead of trying to oppose Donald Trump, we need to try to work together and try to see eye to eye and work on a level playing field and work together to make America a better place for future generations of Americans.
Even in the South, it has often been considered a backwards area. Angelina and Sarah Grimke of South Carolina were abolitionists who fought for the rights of slaves. In the Augusta area, a woman named Ella Gertrude Clanton Thomas also became a suffragette who fought for the rights of women and came to understand that though she had been a plantation owner, how wrong slavery had been. Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, who also fought in the Underground Railroad and also for the rights of African American women, but much of the emphasis is on the rights of African American men.
We find ourselves in those places where the conversation may turn to a page that we don't want to talk about. We have to use that opportunity to have those creative conversations, to break the mold on people that don't understand that we can relate. And the more we relate, the better quality of life we can achieve together. We can form these coalitions with people who today disagree with us. But we have to do that deliberately. So I want to leave with this idea that a movement is a shared vision, agreed upon mechanics, and honest review. Because again, I want to see you guys again. I know I love many of you here today, but when I see you again and when we do this work and when we resist for the next however long, I'm hopeful that we can have a shared vision, agreed upon mechanics, and honest review. If I do something wrong, please let me know, right? If we're getting off topic or if we're getting away or if I need you to fight for me and you're not doing that, let me know, right? That's how we're gonna make it out of this, right? And also just remember what I started with. Corporations are coming after us. Now they're people, right? Corporations are people too now, right? So they're coming after our entitlements. They feel special now. How do we beat them? At the ballot. How do we do that? We show up.